gosh, I have my yoga set up, but I don't have anybody to teach. Thank you, Mary. Thank you for being here. So we have a great class plan tonight, and I just wanted to touch base with you. Did you say that your back is feeling better after your surgery?
Feeling good.
Yay, thank you. That's awesome to hear. Great news. And also, are you cool if I do a little hands-on assist here and there?
Sure.
Perfect. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to come into a nice, comfortable seated position, and just take your hands and place them underneath your hips, and just kind of remove a little bit of flesh from the sitting bones so that we can ground in a little bit.
Perfect.
Perfect. And let your hands rest on your knees. And just imagine you've got a wall right behind you, and you're just going to draw your shoulder blades back toward it. And let's press any air that may be in your lungs out. And then let's take a nice inhale together just to start off our class. And if you'd like to, just open your mouth and just sigh it out. So one thing I'd like for us to work on today is opening up our energy system in our heart. And in doing so, one thing I'd like for us to start is a little bit of breath work with a little hand gesture. So a lot of times we may have our index fingers and thumbs together. You may see that a fair amount. In fact, we probably do that ourselves, right? And sometimes we'll have our hands at heart center. This one's a little bit different. So we're just going to take our index fingers of both hands and place them at the base of your thumb. So that's a little bit different. And then and this is like body coordination here, we're going to touch our middle fingers and ring fingers together. So you're probably feeling like Mr. Spock from Star Trek now. And then those fingertips will come toward your thumb tips. Absolutely. And then our pinky fingers get to hang out exactly where they are. So it's almost like you're taking a little sip of tea. They're going to stay straight.
Okay.
So place your hands in this position, palms up on your knees. Check in with your shoulder blades again and allow them to be up against that imaginary wall behind you. And let your eyes kind of flutter closed, or maybe just cast a soft gaze toward the space directly in front of your legs. Your chin dipping down a little bit if you'd like. And let's just take a couple of deep breaths. Maybe feeling the air coming into your nostrils, into your body, drawing in all of this wonderful oxygen, but also all of this wonderful prana, this life force that we have coming in that's all around us. And maybe start focusing on that energy, that life force, starting to build up, collect in your heart center. Like you're just gathering this little orb of energy here. As we turn our attention to our exhales, when you exhale, just visualize this prana moving up away from your heart center and down away from your heart center. So you've got this wonderful energy collected that is going up and down. And then as you inhale, it just kind of comes back into that heart center. And just one more round of breath here. Our heart chakra is a wonderful way to focus on balance, focus on being open, focus on our emotions. And this mudra is perfect for that. It's called a Hridaya mudra, and it literally means spiritual heart seal. So let's flutter our eyes open and maybe just wiggle our fingers, maybe even make little fists and open them back up. And palms on your knees this time. And let's just do a little bit of a miniature heart opener. As we inhale, we'll just bring our chest forward, letting our heart shine. And then as we exhale, just round our back, dipping our chin toward our chest. So do a couple of rounds of that. We're working on some wonderful heart openers today. Maybe just one more. Inhaling, chest lifting, exhaling and rounding. I'm going to switch so I can roll over with you. So we'll just roll up onto our knees. Perfect. Maybe situate yourself on your mat if you need to. And just make sure that your feet are directly behind your knees, tucking your toes. We're going to lift up our knees by pressing in with our hands. So we're on our toes, but we would like to actually do a little bit more than this. So what we're going to do is to lift your hips up and walk your feet toward each other. Just heel toe them. Inhale, sliding your hands up towards your knees, halfway lift. Back nice and flat, perfect. Exhale your hands down. Maybe a generous bend in your knees this time, draping your torso over your thighs, looking back behind your legs, and just allowing your head to drop here. And maybe even just nodding your head yes, shaking your head no. Inhale, just inhale all the way back up. Shoulders coming up with that inhale, rolling back and down. Excellent. Inhaling all the way up with our arms out to our side at a 180-degree angle. I'll just turn this way. Okay. And exhale your hands down. So this is a beautiful pose. It's called mountain pose. A lot of strength, a lot of grounding happens in this pose. It's also called Tadasana. So we just did an inhale with our arms at 180 degrees, but let's try that with our arms coming forward. So inhale up, and just notice your shoulder blades. This is also super nice work that's very gentle, and exhale down for your rotator cuff muscles. You've got a set of several tinier muscles there. So take that one more time in both directions, but just notice your shoulder blades and see what you feel is feeling best for you. Inhale up at that 180-degree angle, nice straight line with our hands, and exhaling back down when you're ready, just letting your breath match that pacing of your inhale and exhale with your hands, and inhaling up this way. Which way do you feel is best?
This way.
Me too, actually. Yeah. And exhale down as you're ready. Perfect. So we'll take that one more time, either way you want to. Yogi's choice today.
Okay.
And we're going to inhale up with whatever arm way you would like to, and then we'll exhale all the way down. So we're inhaling up. Exhale, forward fold all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, hands are at your knees, back is nice and flat. Exhale your hands down and take both feet back into plank position. So I'd like for you to imagine a straight line with your heels all the way to the crown. So we're going to dip our hips down a little bit. Yes, perfect, perfect, perfect. You can keep going just a little, that's awesome. And then press your low back into my hand. Yes, I love that. And then drop your knees down to the floor to take a little bit of a break. And you can sit back on your shins if you would like to.
Okay.
So what we are working on here is a wonderful pose. It's probably one of the best poses you can work on for overall strength. I think your husband mentioned that to you.
Yes.
So you're going to be working your pretty much everything, your calves, your shins. You're going to work your thighs, both the actual thighs and the hamstrings, your entire abdominal wall, and also those rotator cuff muscles we mentioned, your biceps. I mean, pretty much everything. You're probably working your nose muscles.
Yes.
So, I'm sure we are, right?
Yeah, breathing.
We're breathing
through it all, right.
So let's try that again, and we'll be here for several New York minutes, as they say. So when you're, let's go ahead and take our feet out, coming back into that plank position. I'm going to be in pain with you here.
Okay.
So again, we want that nice straight line from your heels all the way up to the crown of your head. And just feel all of these muscles that we talked about hugging into all of those bones.
Oh yeah, I can definitely feel it.
And just continue to breathe. Maybe spread your fingers so that you can see the color of your mat between them. Let's go ahead and roll our toes, roll forward on our toes, and come down with our elbows close toward our ribs, using your knees if you need to. Inhale up into Cobra Pose. Exhale back down. Tucking your toes. Lifting up on the next inhale into plank again briefly as we send our hips up into downward facing dog. I'm going to step down for a second. Perfect. So let's take our chest a little bit closer toward our thighs. Yes, that is awesome alignment. You were a pro with that.
Thanks.
And just feel that wonderful stretch in your hamstrings that we just worked, your chest, your shoulders. Go ahead and come down to your knees on your next exhale. And we're coming back into Virasana. So this is where we're sitting on our shins. And I would like for us to take our wonderful heart-opening pose here that is a little bit of a back bend. So I know that you just had some back surgery, so we will take that as we need to. We have so many variations of it, so we can totally just be up on our knees, and then we can have blocks out beside us by our ankles. And we want to let our heart shine forward. We want almost like our bottom of our shoulder blades to kind of scoop up toward the sun and scoop up toward our chin. And if we don't do that, then we remain in a straight line. So let's just see how that feels. Stay in a straight line and just kind of try to lean back. And see how that's putting a lot of stress on your thighs right now? And it's also putting stress on your low back.
Yeah.
So you felt that, right? We don't want to do that. So we want to try to keep our thighs where they are. So just hug in, almost as if you have a block in between.
Okay.
So we're going to just hug our thighs toward each other. And when we inhale, like scooping those little shoulder blades up toward our chin, we're going to bend that way instead.
Okay.
And that's all we have to do.
Okay.
If you wanted to, we could have our hands behind, almost as if our fingers are digging into back pockets,
Okay.
digging out the cell phone we got to check.
Okay.
Or we could have our fingertips pointing upward, and I think that feels awesome, like a little shelf there, a little brace, if you will. You could have your toes tucked, because we can reach down and touch them with this. You can touch the blocks if you wanted, or feet can be flat, and you can just take that full expression,
Okay.
which would be both hands touching our heels. Or you can also do so many variations with this. We can just have, an inhale, exhale, touch one, inhale back to heart center, and maybe exhale, touch the other heel. So however you want to do that today.
Okay.
All right? So let's...
Fine with either or. Thank you.
All right, so major thing to remember is just to keep those thighs hugging toward each other.
Okay.
Kevin's your assistant.
Yes.
All right, so we'll just inhale and exhale with whatever variation you would like to take. Maybe your nose even draws a line in the air if that feels comfortable for your neck to go back. Yes, that just feels so nice. And then exhale, coming back to center. Excellent. And we will go ahead and take it onto the floor. So we're coming just down into a nice seated position. Maybe just removing that flesh one more time. Feet are flat on the ground. Arms are up. And just let's take a nice little inhale to let our shoulders come up and back and down, helping us lengthen our spine. And on your next exhale, just come on down with control until you feel like you can't do it anymore, and then just roll on down. Arms extended behind you. Inhale your hands back up and exhale them down towards your hips. And I'm going to get up. And so walk your feet towards your hips, as far as they'll go. And on your next inhale, go ahead and lift your hips up into bridge pose. This is also called Setu Bandha Sharvangasana.
Great.
And you can exhale your hips down and maybe do that 1 or 2 more times following your breath. So inhaling your hips back up and exhale them back down. Just 1 or 2 more times. Just knitting your abs up and in towards your ribs. Just maintaining that wonderful control you've got. And just feel that strength in your abdominals, pressing your thighs toward each other. This is wonderful. It's a great pose to be symbolic of the heart chakra, because that heart chakra really is our midway point of our upper and lower chakra system. And from here, just allow your feet to straighten out if you would like. And maybe even draw your heels toward the outside corners of your mat. And I happen to have an eye pillow that we can place directly over your eyes. It provides a really nice little weight there. It just kind of molds along your eyes. And take a moment just to get out any wiggles that you may have. Maybe you might want your hands to be both on your stomach, maybe remaining where they were, maybe one on your heart, one on your stomach. And take a nice deep breath. Our heart chakra is where we soften and expand. And these poses we've done today have been perfect for allowing our heart to align itself and to recenter. Taking a moment just for gratitude for yourself for the practice you've had today. And then one more breath here. One more exhale. And then slowly roll over onto your right side and gently press yourself up. And just coming back into a seated pose, a nice easy pose, Sukhasana. So hands just coming to where you've got the backs of the fingers touching each other, and just roll them until you find that little heart shape, and just place that at your heart center for a moment. And again, just giving yourself a little gratitude for your practice, and then rolling your hands to where you have your hands at heart center. Maybe your thumbs are actually touching your breastplate. This is the very center of our being. So just repeat to yourself, may I stay balanced, and may I stay open, and may I always stay in touch with my emotions. The light in me honors the light in you.